Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, Fabulites. This is Angela, and I've got questions. What opens with Ghost's associates being snatched up by the feds? And what closes with Ghost's second lawyer, the second chair, trying to snatch Ghost's confidence, dignity, and soul? If you guess Power Season 4 episode, I think it's 3, what kind of man are you? The kind of man you are, something like that, then you're correct. But it's Power, the one that came on last night. Then you're correct. If you want to see how we got from opening to closing, please stick around. Thank you for clicking. Thank you for being here. And let's go. So, Dre and Julio are snatched up by the feds. Then we see that Keisha is snatched up by the feds. And we see Angela being watched. I couldn't catch all of it, I guess, because I was trying to take notes. But apparently, Angela was at the funeral of the guy who got killed that caused Ghost to go to jail. What was it? Greg Knox. Angela was at Greg Knox's funeral, but I heard the rumor is that she was standing in the back because she didn't feel comfortable to go on in and, greet the family because she thought the family might, snatch her, knock her in the head or something. And she is being watched by the guy who was like Greg Knox's mentor, helper, undercover, not undercover lover, but he does love him some Greg Knox, but his like undercover helper. So that happens. And then we see Terry Silver. We meet Terry Silver. This is one of Ghost's lawyers. Now, Proctor has hired this guy as a second chair. He comes in. He says Proctor will be here in a minute. We find out that this man has a 3-in-1 success rate with death penalty cases. So Proctor had to bring in he didn't want the man to die. He trying to bring in some help for Ghost, for James St. Patrick's Jamie. Is Angela the only one who calls him Jamie? I'm Angela. I call him Jamie. That's the name I like. Maybe Angela's like Jamie's. That name. I don't like his ass. Okay. So, then Silver is like, okay, so what happened on the day? And James is like, I already went over this. And then Proctor and Silver are both like, let's go through that day again. Because that's what they need to do. That's how they do their job. They gotta, because you might think of some details or see, there might be something they didn't know. We gotta go through this again. Yes, let's go through it again. And then they do notice that, or James notices that a phone that's in a picture that Silver shows him was not there when he went by Greg Knox's place. Because that burner phone that was like the mole's phone. So that's been placed there to make Knox look like he's the mole or whatever, or the snitch. And then Silver is real. It seemed like he hostile. To me, it seems like he's hostile, mean, and dry, aggressively so toward James. To me, it seemed like for no reason. Like, I don't understand, in a professional context, why he's, but he says he's not here to judge your innocence. I'm here to save your life. So I don't know, maybe I was looking down and taking notes and I missed what sort of instigated that type of interaction, because it seemed like, yeah, you're here to do a job, so you don't even need to say that. And then it's normal, it would seem like it would be normal for the client to be saying whatever they saying. But anyway, then we see Reek and Raina. That's the first time I thought twins, Reek and Raina, but his name is Tyreek. But Reek and Raina, we see Reek and Raina with Uncle Tommy. And Uncle Tommy, he seemed to have a good relationship with the children. And that's another whole thing with Tariq. Now, I guess that maybe Tariq feels that Tommy is too close to his parents, and that's why he's seeking a relationship with this outside man. But he already have a man outside. Because a lot of times children will go to their parents' friends. Will go to their parents' friends with stuff that they won't come to their parents with. And aunties and uncles and, I don't know. I don't know if you could make me understand the whole Keenan thing and make it make sense to me. Keenan, whatever. Yeah, I don't understand. Because he had this relationship with Tommy. you know, and Tommy seemed like he had a relationship with him. So anyway, they go back and forth in the car. Raina go on to school because, you know, she only get what, one line an episode or something like that. So she go on to school, and Tariq and Tommy are going back and forth about whether Ghost is innocent or not, or blah 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 blah. And then Tommy is like, your dad would never put our family at risk by killing a cop. Tariq is like, yeah, whatever, I don't believe that shit. Basically, he ain't really, you know. I just thought it was interesting, and I appreciated hearing again Tommy refer to the family as our family. You know, like they're brothers. You know, there's a connection, at least, you know, the way he feels about it. So I appreciate that. We see Julio being questioned. He says that, you know, he met he met James St. Patrick through the laundromat, and that he had been in a gang, Julio, because he got the tattoo that let him know that he's affiliated or whatever. And Julio is he's like, you know, no, he's very no, I'm not. There's no, they just answer the questions, both Julio and we see Dre answering the questions. But Julio is very personable and cute in his interview, isn't he? I thought that he like really came. He said he's totally clean, and he said James is a helper. Basically, James is out here helping people that other people won't help. So we love James St. Patrick. And then Dre, we see him being questioned. He said he met him at the club, and that James is a helper. He gave him a chance. He was a, you know, a neighborhood kid that needed somebody to give him a chance, and that's where James St. Patrick came in. So they, you know, on this first layer of interrogation, or, you know, being dealt with by the feds, they keeping they cool. They ain't saying hardly nothing, you know, that they know of. Then we see Keisha. And that's the thing about not knowing, when you know, the truth comes to light. So Keisha, she's being questioned. I once had this criminal person tell me, if you get pulled, when you deal with the police, don't say anything. Don't say anything. Don't say nothing. Nothing, not a thing. Don't say nothing. Lawyer. Don't try to be cute. Don't try to be funny. Don't try to be clever, because that shit is what's going to get you caught up. That's what she told me. She said, don't say nothing but lawyer. Don't say nothing. Don't say nothing smart. Don't try to correct some misinformation. Don't think you got, you know, if you got, oh, I can answer that question. Don't say nothing. Don't say nothing. So anyway, we see Keisha, her last name is Grant, Lakeisha Grant, being questioned by Angela. Angela is questioning her. And we find out that she's known Tasha since the 2nd grade. And even though on the last episode, I saw some serious hostility toward Tasha, she kept her stuff together, but then she's on the line too, so I guess she needs to. She says she don't know Tommy too well. She knows that James and Tommy are men and they play video games or something, she said. And then she's basically said to Angela, all of the questions you asking me, you know the questions. You know the answers to those questions. It's because of you. He left her because of you, and you know when he did, and you knew when he was sleeping on the couch. And see, that's where I felt like she could have just been quiet, because we didn't know, because we just regular lay people, that they were building a legal case. Angela was getting evidence and getting information to try to hurt them. So it's good to just be quiet, because then they don't have anything to use against you. Although, you know, you have the right to remain silent. They act like if you remain silent, that's like a crime too. Okay, so we saw that. And then we see the lawyers, James St. Patrick's lawyers with Keisha and Tasha, and they talk about the breaking of spousal privilege if Angela can prove that it was more of a business arrangement than a marriage, because they're kind of breaking down and analyzing what happened in the interrogation with Keisha, and the lawyers see where Angela is trying to go, what type of case she's trying to build. And then we're over at the FBI, and the lawyers there are having a strategy session. Josh Cantos was at Truth, and he has info, but he's demanding immunity. Is that the guy who was the manager who got fired, then rehired, and he was kind of sleazy, and he had kind of a lot going on? And Mac says to, is it Max? John Mox, the Asian attorney, he says to Angela, you know, James, what kind of man is he? And Angela's like, he did it, about James St. Patrick. And then Mock is like, well, then the kids are collateral damage, because Angela was basically like, you know, he has children, we need to approach this in a certain way. And Mock is like, it's about winning. It's about winning. I don't give a damn about them children. What does that matter to me? Why is that relevant? I don't care. He collateral damage. That means I don't care. I don't care. That's his fault for being a criminal. If somebody gonna care about the kids, it should be him. And if he cared about them kids, he wouldn't be a criminal. That's where Mock is coming from. Then we see Patar pressuring, I think, Tommy, and he's under pressure. But anyway, the Patar, who was Milan's number 2, they still in the mix and they under pressure. We see Reek protecting Raina from daddy harassment. And I'm like, get him, Tariq. Because these little boys come up to little girl and they trying to harass her about her father. I don't know what it was that flashed across their phone saying that he was going to get the death penalty or whatever. And, that's the one moment that I can think of where I was like, yes, Tariq. Back up off of my sister. Back up off of my girl. That's our girl. That's the one that we like in the whole show. You better back up off of her. That's right, Tariq. Get him. So anyway, and then Raina get on him for that. And he like, anyway. And I was wondering, I've been wondering this whole time about the DNA. I did not make the association with the pullover. Damn police harassment. So when he pulled him over and he snatched Jamie up, that's how he got Jamie's DNA under his nails. Because I was like, how is the DNA under his arms? James is telling the truth about that, lying ass, but he telling the truth about that. How did DNA get under the arms? But now we know. Now, So anyway, the lawyers and whatever have figured it out. They see that police stop was not logged by Knox. And so, they have to figure out, well, Silver doesn't even think that it's necessarily true. Just because James said it, he doesn't think it's true. Proctor is like, if James said the man pulled him over, the man pulled him over. You go find the evidence. Get your investigators on the job. Don't be questioning James. Me and James he telling the truth. Shoot. So anyway, okay, so then we got that. Agent Bailey. Now, this is Knox's mentor, the guy that was watching Angela at the funeral. I think his name is Bailey. But he is like adamant that Knox is not the mole. He is not appreciative of this narrative, this story. He don't like it at all. He wants Knox's name to be cleared. And he feels very clearly that Angela is the mole. And so she needs to go down for that. She needs to, get in trouble for that. This man, his friend, his mentee, Greg Knox needs to get a hero's burial and acknowledgement, not have this awful scar on his name as a mole, because that's not who he was. So Mock is like, as long as we get a win, I don't care. We getting this clear narrative that John Mox, the Asian attorney, is very concerned with winning. That's his concern, winning. Everything else is secondary to winning. I want to win. Is it going to help me win? Good. Is it going to stop me from winning? Bad. Win. I want to win. W-I-N, win. That's it. So Mock is like, shoot, I don't care. What does it matter? And Agent Bailey is like, the truth matters. Knox was a good man, killed in the line of duty. And I'm not going to let nobody say anything different in front of me. That's basically his position. He like the truth is very important. John Mock. Okay, so then we see Tommy and Keisha eating takeout at her place, and Tommy is asking about the cop interrogation and the follow-up lawyer meeting. So he's gathering information. And then we see Tariq and Slim. And Slim is just as happy. Kanan is just as happy in an undercover way to hear about the fact that the man is getting the death penalty, or if he gets convicted, he gonna get the death penalty. The ghost is gonna get it. And then, Slim is getting Tariq high. They doing the lean, the drinking, getting all of that. I don't know why this boy get on my nerves with dealing with this asshole of a man. With his asshole, little asshole ass, Tariq. And then we see Bailey and Angela. And Bailey, now this is Knox's mentor, he is mad at Angela. And he like, you killed Knox. You clear his name, and you need to finally admit to being the mole. You need to do the right thing, Angela. So then we see Julio and Dre, and they're at Truth, and Julio is like, you know, well, what did the feds ask you about? And they, you know, kind of chit chat. And then Julio is like, we gonna stop running the drugs through the club, basically. And Dre is kind of like, huh, what? You know, the crime life don't stop just because the cops are always here. We gotta keep it moving. I don't care about being pulled over by no feds. They not gonna stop my criminal enterprise. Shoot. And plus, he got to pay them people $45,000 a week. So no, we need to keep things flowing over here. So Bailey knows that Ghost and Egan are not the same Patrick, and that he believes that St. Patrick is still the doer. He believes that St. Patrick killed Greg Knox, and that Greg is not the mole. And then somebody in that scene says, fuck me in the ass. And I can't stand that expression. I'm like, who says that? I guess because I'm a person who believes in, you know, you say, you know, you affirm things. I'm like, is that what you want? I mean, I don't know. I'm like, ooh. And that's totally off the subject. But anyway. So then we have Tom. I was taking notes while I was watching. I've only watched it once. I got a lot going on, so I can't go back. We got to go forward. This is another instance of we got to go forward. So we just doing the best we can with it. So then we see Tommy and Julio, and Tommy is telling Julio, you know, in 2 days it's going to be the most important shipment of your entire life. Now, I missed what was going on. Maybe that had something to do with Qatar. Is that coming? Yeah. But anyway, we know it's the most, it's important. It's an important shipment that's coming in. And then we see James and the older white guy, and we know his name. Is it Tony? I think his name is Tony, but I'm just going to call him the older white guy in jail. And he's like, you know, you don't want anyone to know who you are, the older white guy, right, Ghost? You won't mind. Oh, you're not Ghost? So you won't mind if I go to mock with this. And then James is like, what proof do you have? You have me mistaken. I think you have me confused with someone else. I just really don't know what's going on. And then he like, you know, I got the proof. Just pay me for my silence. And then Ghost is like, what's your price? And the older white guy is like $20,000 to this address and every week by Egan. It's funny, you know, $45,000 here, $20,000 here. It's just, this money is just flowing. You know, I'm like, okay, they got money to be. I guess that's the dirty money. It don't have to have a good, clean trail like the $2 million potential bail money. So, and I guess he wants Egan, so he wants Egan to deliver it to the address. Okay, so then we see Proctor and Tommy. And Tommy is basically like, you know, you better, you know, we know last week he said, Tommy told Proctor, if I get arrested, you getting killed. And now he telling Tommy, I don't want no heat to touch Tasha, the kids, or Lakeisha. And then Tommy, not Tommy, but Proctor is like, well, Keisha's just a family friend, right? She don't really know nothing, you know, but she's a weak link. So, you know, you got to stay cool and trust me. And then he like, give me my ex's drugs. Okay, these people, this be stuff going, this is real, like real life, this stuff be going on in the world. Okay, so then we see Proctor and the new lawyer, what's his name? Silver. We see Proctor and the new lawyer, Proctor and the new lawyer. Okay, and they're having a conflict, and basically the new lawyer Silver is like, you know, you have to recuse yourself, Mr. Proctor. You can't represent Tommy and James. You can't be both of their lawyers. It's a conflict of interest. You know, what's up with you and James? For real, what's good? What's good? And we know Silver, he, you know, he figuring some stuff out. So then we see the white FBI guy, I don't know his name, but when they had last week, when they were talking about racism, and you know, they were like sitting around the table and they were like, plus none of us are white in here, and he was like, I am. I think that's this guy. And he's with the judge, and he's like, you know, look, I got this with a judge. He like, I just got a hypothetical question, like what would happen if, you know, perhaps maybe somehow I had an illegal wiretap of a bootleg informant. And the judge is like, that tape will never be played in my court. I don't know what y'all are out here, what illegal stuff y'all legal enforcers are out here doing, but I'm not here for it. Okay, so he trying to test the waters to see what can get in and out or whatever. Then we see Proctor and James and Tony Torresi. That's the older white man. And James is like, you know, can you find out what you can about Tony Torresi? And Proctor is like, look, you know, the more questions I ask, the more you have me out here, the more exposed we are. And James is like, look, he called me ghost and he asked for money. And then the other lawyer comes in and he's like, oh, you started without me? And then Angela comes in and she's like, I want to just talk to James. You know, it's like 4 or 5 people in the room. I guess the 2 lawyers, James and Angela, and maybe somebody else, I don't know. And James is like, I don't trust you. And so he has his lawyers to stay. And then, you know, he says, you know, I'm not careless. So all of this stuff you're trying to pin on me is some sloppy stuff. That's not even how I roll. And you, of all people, know that I don't get down like that. And then she says, we both know that when you want something, your family doesn't matter. And then Proctor storms out. And then John Mock, he says to the other lawyer, would never send Angela down here to get James to flip on Tommy. And then the other lawyer is like, look, if you are here for James, you need to tell him to flip on Egan. So I'm not quite sure when why Proctor stormed out, but anyway, okay, so that's the main thing. Angela put an offer on the table, and Proctor is like, she not authorized to make that offer. She ain't first chair, she ain't second chair, is she third chair? Plus, I know how the Asian guy roll. Mock ain't sending her. He want to have the glory and the shine and the moment in the sun. Then Tommy, Dre is coming over to Tommy and he's telling him, look, you know, Julio shut down the drugs at the club. And Tommy is like, oh no, we got to keep selling drugs at the club. And Dre is like, yeah. Okay, so then we see James and the Charlie Murphy cop, and he gives him a newspaper with the picture on the front page or on the front section that he gave her of Raina crying, because when the thing happened with her brother protecting her or getting on those boys that were trying to harass her, he left and she followed him crying, oh, why did you do this? This is just so upsetting. This is so upsetting. And so they caught a picture of her crying, and then it was on the cover of, or it was in the newspaper. So, you know, Charlie Murphy cop is trying to, you know, continue his harassment of James and terrorizing him, making him feel bad and powerless and just jacked up and upset. And then we see Tariq with his friend, and Slim comes into an apartment with a code to rob and steal. So this is what Slim had been setting Tariq up for, so that he could help Slim Kanan steal or whatever. And I guess it was, I couldn't really see the pictures on the table, but I guess the white boy that he was playing with, playing the video games with, that's whose apartment was getting robbed. I didn't really, I'm like, are the children in the apartment? Are they not in the apartment? I think I read someplace that was the bully. But anyway, you know, Kanan is out here doing what Kanan does, and this child is involved with it and helping him out. Dummy. And then James calls Tasha, and Tasha happens to be comforting Raina, who's just, oh, I'm so upset. She's crying. Oh! And her father is like, is Raina okay? Can I talk to her? And Raina, oh, I'm so sorry, Daddy. I'm sorry. He's like, don't say you're sorry. I'm sorry. No, they gonna kill you, Daddy. They gonna kill you in jail. Nobody can kill your daddy. That's what James says. Okay, so then we're at the bar with Killer Sandoval, and he's with the Greg Knox advocate. You know Greg Knox's mentor, the one who told Angela, you need to clear Greg Knox's name and come out as the mole, because we know Greg Knox ain't the mole. The one who told Mox the truth counts, and he needs to get a hero's burial. He needs to be acknowledged as the hero that he was. So this killer is at the bar with Sandoval, and Sandoval is like, you know, I never believed that Greg was the mole, but you know, it was nothing I could do. I just don't know what to do. What info do you have? And then, you know, the guy is like, I got some info and they're going to be in touch. But then I think I read someplace, because he went on his computer and he was looking at, it looked like a driver's license or some information to me. So I don't know if he was looking up information about Sandoval, but the person looked browner to me, but I don't know. But anyway, I read someplace that somebody is like, he doesn't trust Sandoval. So maybe he was looking up stuff on Sandoval. Girl, I don't know. He very sweet. Okay, so, oh my God. So then we see Proctor and James, and he's got the info on the older white guy, Terese, and James has Proctor get the address from his right sleeve and has Tommy take $20,000. Have Tommy take $20,000, okay? And then Raina crying in the paper, it's your fault, he tells Proctor, because you brought the press into it. And then how much time would Angela's deal be? So he's kind of breaking down a little bit. He giving in to the pressure on all sides, and Proctor's like, trust me. Then we see Reek and Raina, and Reek is cussing up a storm. Raina come in to talk to him. He playing this video. He just being Mr. Smart Guy, Mr. Tough Guy, Mr. Asshole. So then we're in the courtroom with Proctor getting the DNA thrown out. The video and the cell phone pinging show that Knox pulled James over, because they like, how we know the video is legit? Well, the cell phones, you know, we got double evidence. We ain't just come with one piece of evidence. We've done our due diligence. And the judge is like, okay, I'm going to admit the video. I'm not going to throw out the DNA. And then Valdez, they're like, but she knew and she suppressed this exculpatory evidence. And then it's like, when the judge is like, did you know Valdez? And Valdez, Angela is like, yes. And then Mock is like, well, it wasn't logged, so we thought it was a lie. And then the judge is like, but they found it. How come you didn't investigate and find it? And Mock is like, you know, so it's up to you. You can have the DNA evidence removed, or we can let it get admitted, and they can go on and say that y'all tried to lie and hide and steal and kill and all of the other mess y'all do. And then Mock is like, we'll just remove the DNA evidence instead of having Proctor be able to say that they hid the evidence. Okay, so then we're at Tommy's event. He was setting it up before. I'm not really clear what it is, but he had said something about the people coming in through the front door and bring the stuff in through the back. I really don't understand what was going on. And they like, just watch for Egan. And then we see Egan in the truck. So, oh, the people outside are like, what's going on? Like the surveillance people. And the other guy's like, I don't know, just watch for Egan. But Egan's in the truck, so they couldn't see Egan. He moving about incognito, but he not a Negro. But, you know, he moving around incognito. And then the new lawyer is with James, and he's like, you know, I'm not here because you're innocent. I'm here because you can pay, and I can use your money to help the innocent. And Jamie is like, well, you know, you had a privilege, right? You had a privileged upbringing. Your parents are college educated. You had books in the house, you know, all of that kind of stuff. And the man never said yes or no. It would be good if he didn't, because then that would show James something. But anyway, the lawyer Silver is like, it's about character, not economics. And I know what kind of man you are. You are a convict. No matter how hard you try to convince us otherwise, this is you, little orange jumpsuit man. And I was like, well, goddamn, we gotta be mean. I mean, we don't like him, but dang. Anyway, thanks for watching, commenting, subscribing, being here, being you, and for being fabulous you. See you later. Peace.